Hendricks, please put your mic on mute. We're on a record in cause number 326406, the state of Texas versus Andrew Christopher Burnett. Mr. Burnett, would you please come forward? Mr. Burnett, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Burnett, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Burnett, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Burnett?
I'm good, are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Burnett, the information alleges that on or about February 19th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an open container. Mr. Burnett, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Burnett, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Burnett, I have before me what is marked as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Burnett, do you recognize this document? You notice on this, let me do this here, on page 2 of this document, are those your initials?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm gonna go back to page 1. Now you notice, Mr. Burnett, there are some initials on page 1 that you probably didn't see when you signed. Those initials, those are my initials.
Okay.
And the reason why I initialed this document is because where it says 72 hours as the minimum time, I scratched through that and put 6 days because this is a DWI with open container. The minimum jail time is 6 days in the county jail. And the maximum is 180 days.
Okay.
That's just a punishment range, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I made that change. Now, Mr. Burnett, on page 3, hold on, let me do this here. I guess, Mr. Burnett, let me do this here. Let me hand this back to him. Where he has, I think he wrote his name
I
there.
did write my name where I was supposed
Yeah.
to initial.
Yeah, he was just
Just
you could turn that up backwards, that's the eraser on the back, and just erase it,
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
and just put your initials there.
It'll take much.
Yeah, just, yeah, erase it.
There you go.
Okay, thanks. Okay, now, Mr. Burnett, are these your initials on page 2 of this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, Mr. Burnett, is that your signature above the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, your trial court certification to defendant's right of appeal, Ms. Burnett, Mr. Burnett, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature above the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir, it is.
And there's one box that's checked at the top of this document. That box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You have trial court certification.
Yes, sir, I do.
Mr. Burnett, and I have another document before me. This document is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature on the second line above the line that said defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Burnett, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney, Ms. Wiedenfeld, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir. she did.
Okay. And by the way, how are you doing, Ms. Wiedenfeld?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Now, did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes,
to
sir.
the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'd also like to offer State's Exhibit number 2 is the probable cause affidavit for this case.
Ms. Wiedenfeld, State is offering State's Exhibits 1 and 2. You have any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibits number 1 and State Exhibit number 2 will be admitted. Ms. Wiedenfeld, you advised and counsel Mr. Burnett. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Mr. Burnett, your attorney, Ms. Wiedenfeld, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with her representation?
Yes, absolutely.
Has she provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, she is.
Mr. Burnett, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I'll also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, it's for 90 days to be probated over 1 year, an $800 fine, and 60 hours community service with the DWI education course and the drug and alcohol assessment.
Mr. Burnett, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. The 90 days will be probated for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $800 plus court costs, and the $800 plus the $317 in court costs, which comes to a total, or is it it's $417 in court costs, which comes to a total of $1,217. You will also be required to pay $60 each month for probation fee, $15 each month for a urinalysis fee. You will also be required to pay the Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. And if a further evaluation is needed, you will be required to pay $50. Now, the total amount that you will have to pay per month on your probation is $190 per month. Will you be able to pay the $190 per month? You will? Okay. Now, you will also be required to perform 60 hours of community service. And you would have to attend the DWI education class and have a alcohol and drug assessment, as well as to adhere to the other terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. Burnett, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir. I do.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir. I do.
Do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir. I do.
Mr. Burnett, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Mr. Burnett, you're gonna stand on the mark on the floor next where your attorney is standing, and you'll follow the directions of our court clerk. Mr. Burnett, once you finish here with your paperwork, you'll be free to go. And Mr. Burnett, you have a good day. And Ms. Wiedenfeld, you also have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
All right, y'all, we'll see y'all later.